And I think she's got this piece of barbed wire and is sticking it right up his fat fucking ass. Yeah, that's right. You think about this. Going in and out. And he's begging, oh, please, Melania. And she said, you know what you did to me with Stormy Daniels? Do you know what you've done to me with all your vulgar talk? Do you know what you've done to me the way you pay no attention to our child? You have any idea of what I think about you? And then, well, thank you. And I just want to give a what do you call it, a trigger warning here. If you react sensitively, a great deal of sensitivity to visual images or the prospect of visual images, this video may not be for you. If you're under 18, proceed with caution, because some of the things that you're going to see today might upset you. So what I'm going to show you right now is a piece of barbed wire. I want you to look at that very closely. It's very, very important. This is barbed wire. I hated this stuff when I was a young lad. My uncle would make me do fencing. You had to take a post hole digger, and, oh God, you dig a hole and then you put a post in, and then you had to take this barbed wire and you had like a stretcher, and you'd pull it tight, and you'd have to hammer I don't know what they call it, like a U-nail. And this stuff is very, very, very difficult to deal with. Also, for you history buffs, this barbed wire probably had a lot more to do with taming the West than a Colt 45. The history of the West is very entwined with the history of barbed wire, because if you had property, you could keep your cattle or your sheep on your land. You didn't have an open range, because barbed wire is a huge deterrent to going through the fence. And this is stuff is very, 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 very pointy and very sharp. And I'll tell you why that I'm doing this. So Melania Trump has a new book out that she's promoting with video. And her talk on reproductive rights, she thought was written by NARAL. She was very forceful, very articulate about that. She also was very forceful and very articulate talking about immigration. The stupid press thinks this was all applied to help Trump with suburban women. I don't think that. I think she hates him. I think she can't stand the ground that he walks on. And I think she's got this piece of barbed wire and is sticking it right up his fat fucking ass. Yeah, that's right. You think about this. Going in and out. And he's begging, oh, please, Melania. And she said, you know what you did to me with Stormy Daniels? Do you know what you've done to me with all your vulgar talk? Do you know what you've done to me the way you pay no attention to our child? Do you have any idea of what I think about you? And then the barbed wire. And she ain't going to stop. All right? She hates the ground at she wouldn't even let him in the car with her and her son as she was leaving her mother's funeral. Of course, because he smells like shit. Who wants him around? We've demonstrated beyond any shadow of a doubt that we've had engineers weigh in. A man is incapable of wiping his ass. But let me tell you, this barbed wire can go through a lot of stuff, and it could cause a lot of pain. And she is causing him pain like crazy, and there's nothing they can do about it. She's totally looked out for herself. Every prenup you can imagine. Maybe Trump was a little late with the payment, and she just let him know what power she has. Now, of course, living all at this Mar-a-Lago pile they have going on there, maybe it's just in Bedminster now, who knows where it is. You got Kimberly Guilfoyle, who's Don Jr.'s girlfriend. I got news for you. You should have talked to Melania. You don't have a prenup. You don't have nothing. You're in your 50s. He's sucking on the tongue of some socialite philanthropist in the middle of the day in Palm Beach, and your ass is going to be put on the street. And what you should have done while you were there, you should have sat at Melania's feet and understand how you leverage your position in Trump land. You have to make them pay, which my hats off to Melania because they're paying her through their ass. And she's going to sit there and torture them and continue to torture them going forward. So I can't say that I'm very distressed about the pain that Donald Trump's going to buy because, as I told you before, I can't stand him. I think he's human garbage of the worst order. And sometimes I think of Melania sticking this barbed wire. See, I got it curved so you can kind of follow the colon up. You understand what I'm saying? And every time that I think of that and him yelling and screaming, it brings nothing but joy to my face. Just total joy and everything. And we know what's going on down there. We know that she won't get in the same, she ain't in the same bedroom. They're in the same car with him, not getting the same floor. I bet you she has her own floor at Mar-a-Lago, which, of course, they have to pay everything for. And I'm sure that her fees have just gotten a lot more expensive here. And she's shown exactly what she can do with her new book that she's selling, that she's promoting and talking about inherently women should have autonomy over their bodies. She talks about the value of the immigration, points out that she's an immigrant herself, and how horrific and inhumane his family separation policy was. So for those of you with a strong enough stomach to sit through this, congratulations to you. Just so you know, we're never going to let off. We're going to keep the pedal to the metal. We're going to go through Election Day. We're going to mock this son of a bitch in any way that he can be mocked. We're not going to treat him like he's another human being because he does not exhibit human emotions or human concern for other human beings. So there's nothing that I can say about him that would cause me one modicum of self-doubt. So we'll be having more and more, but as we leave, I want you to think about this historically relevant barbed wire that was a part of my youth. I can't say it was my favorite thing I ever do. But one thing when you're fooling with this, you have to wear pretty big gloves. Even we knew that back then before we had OSHA or anything else. You don't fool with barbed wire unless you got really big gloves. And I just keep joy whenever I think of Melania sticking this right up his fat ass. So as we're talking about Melania, of course, I've become a big fan of hers because she knows how to rat fuck him, and I'm a big believer in rat fucking. I think that's one of the great arts that exist in the world. But as I'm thinking of tonight there in the Carville, it's about Winning Stupid documentary on CNN, and they've done a great job on promoting it. I love my relationship with them. I'm very honored to have them on there. But in order for them to get her, it costs $250,000. And you go, girl. You make them pay, and then you make Trump pay another $250,000 so you don't tell us how he shits in his pants or can't wipe his ass. That's worth another $250,000 to you. You just keep that bottom line going. And Kimberly, I'm sorry. Your ass is out on the street, and you got to deal with all the crap. But you believe these people. You didn't get a financial agreement up front. I don't feel sorry for you. Let your boyfriend go there and suck on anybody's tongue he wants to in the middle of the day. But good job, Melania, and just keep this barbed wire available. Thank you.